right, all right. What's good people? How we doing today? Another lovely day. Welcome to 2023. It's going to be a good year for me. It's got my good number in it, the 23. You know, it's my birthday, old baseball number. I haven't got it tattooed on my arm somewhere. Anyways, neither here nor there. I don't believe in all that numerology shit. I don't think it means a goddamn thing. But it's fun to fuck with, I guess, a little bit, you know what I mean? Anywho, hey, now, what did I tell you all was going to happen with fucking Republicans? They went in there and took over the House yesterday. Boy, they took it over in prime fashion, didn't they? Arguing with one another, fighting. Fucking Jesus Christ. Now you've got Byron Donald is Lauren Boebert just nominated him, which is cool. That's fine. Byron Donald's a good dude. I mean, better than McCarthy. I thought Jim Jordan, I don't think wants it. I think that throws salt in his Kool-Aid. He's more of one of those cats that, he wants to, I think he wants to battle it out on the floor. He doesn't want to be up there, running shit. I mean, he's got a strong enough presence as it is. Anyways, I knew this was how it was going to go with these jackasses. They're not going to get a thing done. They're not going to anyways because they don't have the Senate, and you've got Biden and you've got Kamala. I mean, so the only good thing that came out of it was that crying Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney are gone, and Pelosi's out. No more fucking Nancy Pelosi. Jesus Christ, that's gonna be nice. Not to have to watch that goofy fucking Skeletor looking fucking idiot sit up there and fucking chew on her fucking dentures. Jesus Christ. She can go take care of her husband, I guess. Try and keep his ass out of trouble because he seems to have a hard time with that. Nobody's ever going to get the truth out of any of that shit. Maybe no one's going to get the truth. I don't even want to get back into that shit. The big thing going on today in the news, other than the Republicans fighting amongst each other and, doing their fucking thing like what I knew they were going to do this. They can't just say, hey, guess what? We do have this opportunity. Let's do something. No, they gotta grandstand. They gotta fight, and argue with one another. And I can understand not one McCarthy, but I mean, it's like if that's what you're gonna do, then figure it out. You've had all this time. They've had all kinds of time, and they haven't figured a thing out. You know why? Because they're fucking idiots. There's Jordan's decent. I like Matt Gaetz. Boebert cracks me up. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a fucking nutbag. I mean, I don't even know who else in that part. Mitch McConnell, well, he's in the Senate. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking of Republicans off the top of my head right now, thinking about all these fucking morons. It doesn't matter what side of the fence they're on. They're the same, for the most part, they're the same thing. I don't think Jim Jordan is. Then I like, there's a few of them that are all right. And Byron Donald is one of them. So if he gets Speaker of the House, I think that'd be I think that actually, I was thinking that from the get-go. I thought that, but I just thought it was a long shot that it probably wouldn't happen. But I think that'd be a great call right there because that dude he's solid. He's solid as a rock, But I think he's garnered a lot of respect as well because he's from what I've seen of the man, he's been right down the line. So hey, that'd be cool. Whatever, it doesn't fucking matter anyways because they're not gonna get anything done. They're gonna, if they do happen to push anything through after fighting with each other, it's just going to go and get shut down, I mean, it's not going to pass the Senate, even if it does. It goes to the fucking, smarmy Joe Biden's fucking desk. He's not going to sign anything that doesn't have to do with him fucking over the American people and making himself some money. I mean, that's all he's about. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's what he's about. He wants to make himself some money and get, hunty out there, and I mean, it's just, it's so fucking pathetic. It's so stupid. I mean, the only reason I keep on top of it is just because I like to know how things work. Because these are the things that kind of run the world, I mean, you can bury your head in the sand and you can act like it's not there, and you can say, I don't give a shit about politics, and that's fine. If you don't, that's cool. That's whatever. Do your thing. But for me, I like to know what's up. I like to know the way things work. I like to know what's pushing this shit. How's this going? What route are we going down here, I mean, that's just me. Everybody do their own thing, I'm not telling you to do any one thing or another. It's your life. It's your choice, It's your pig. You can fuck it any way you like, basically. I don't give a shit, But anyway, I knew this was coming down the pike anyways with these idiots. Okay, I'm making sure this thing's right. Anyhow. So here's the thing I've been watching a lot lately, and I don't know why I got into this, because usually trials and shit like that, I don't get into them too much. But this thing with this Idaho, these unfortunate souls that lost their lives on October 13th, these young kids, and then they arrest this Kohberger. And apparently he's on his way to Idaho. He's on a private flight into Idaho. He waived extradition yesterday. Now, the whole country has this dude pegged as fucking completely guilty, all right? And I'm not saying one way or another. And I've said that from the get-go. I don't know if he did or if he didn't. I don't know the dude. I don't know any of these people. I don't know. All I'm here to say is that I see there's some flags out there. There's some things that don't make sense, and I don't think that people I don't think people are realizing these things because they're too wound up. Everybody's too emotional, like the president from Idiocracy. It's just real emotional right now, when they're watering the plants with Brondo, because electrolytes is what plants crave. That's kind of where we're at right now. There's a lot of emotion going on in that small town in Idaho and in Pullman, just right up the road. I mean, they're very close. They're across state lines. So with that being said, I don't understand how come the feds haven't gotten involved. Why is this not going federal? Because he crossed state lines and committed these murders. Okay. And then he also jumped in the vehicle and basically fled to Pennsylvania with his father in the car. And they got pulled over twice. But supposedly the feds were tailing them. The FBI was supposedly tailing them. Now, how is the FBI going to allow State Highway Patrol to pull these guys over? I mean, I know what they would have done. They should have. But the FBI has proven to be a different FBI than the FBI that I knew once. I mean, typically they would call ahead and say, "Hey, look, we're on the tail of this white Elantra. Leave them alone. We're investigating this as the motherfucker from the Idaho murders that we're looking at. Just don't fucking pull over a goddamn white Elantra with such and such license plate, if in fact they're following him." And I don't understand why they didn't just sit on him, because they already had him under surveillance. I mean, and you got a dude here, okay, this guy's a criminal justice, he's got a master's in criminal justice, in criminology, okay? He was, through his first semester, working towards his doctorate. He was, he was a teacher's assistant in 3 different undergraduate classes, and he was, going through his own doctorate program. He'd only been in Pullman, Washington since August. The murders happened on October 13th. Kind of a weird date. There's footage of this white Elantra. There's a cop that's got some college kids pulled over, probably just some knucklehead shit, underage drinking, whatever the fuck. But you can see on the body cam, the body cam from the police officer, you can see the white Elantra go by. And then they said it was at the gas station. Now, this dude is a criminal. This dude has a master's in criminal justice and criminology. So he's taken criminal psychology classes. And everybody wants to talk about the Reddit thing that he put out. Well, he put that out, from everything that I can gather and from what his professors said, when he put that Reddit shit out, that was part of his, getting his master's. Had he put it out after he'd gotten the master's, like over the summer, then that would be kind of weird. I mean, this is a weird dude anyways. But being a weird dude doesn't mean anything. There's weird people all over the fucking place, I mean, if you're listening to this, you're probably a weirdo. Because I'm a weirdo. I mean, it's like, we're all weird in our own way. We all have our quirks and this and that and the other thing. The dude's a vegan, the aunt chose to make talk about his OCD food fetish. Well, if you're a vegan, you're going to be OCD about your food because you're a fucking vegan. I mean, we've talked about this. I've gone through this. If that's the choice that you've made for diet, then you're going to be OCD about it because you have to be. I mean, there's no other choice about it. So, and I can understand what they're saying. I mean, the guy didn't want to eat out of the pan. Okay, so how does a guy who doesn't want to eat out of a pot or a pan that has had meat cooked in it previously, even though it's been run through a dishwasher, sterilized, cleaned, whatever, won't eat out of it? And then he's going to go in and pull a grisly, nasty murder on 4 kids? I don't know how he does that. Unless we're talking about the sickest individual that we've seen in this century. Because quite frankly, these murders were, I mean, I haven't seen photos. I've heard, what it was, and it's brutal. I mean, brutal. Very much so. And that's, with the stabbing, it's a very personal death. It's not like shooting somebody. That is a personal engagement with somebody. And to do that with 4 people and not have any kind of nothing, just cold. That's all it is. It's cold. Maybe this guy could do that. Everybody's like, oh, look, he's got cold eyes. Well, maybe so. He's a weird look. He's got a weird look to him, and he was saying some weird shit in there. But look, this is a dude he's had 1 ticket in his entire life for not wearing a seatbelt. And then he gets jammed up with this at 3 a.m. He's on suicide watch. He's got the vest on. And I'm going to pull this up. I want you all to take a look at this, okay? Because this is the thing that really... This is one of the things that got me, okay? I'm going to pull this shot up. This is his mug shot from the county jail that dude was at in Pennsylvania. Check this out. Okay. Does anybody notice anything weird about this photo? All right. This is a mug shot, okay? Now, he's looking at the camera, all right? So we're going to flip the script and let's look over his left shoulder. You see those 2 hash marks on the tile. Okay. What are those? Is that how they measure how tall a dude is in this county? I've never in my life seen a mugshot like this. This looks like he's in a fucking bathroom. Look at the door jamb, okay? Take this photo and look at it. The door jamb is it's oxidized. The door itself is oxidized. It's got that chalky shit coming through. That's what happens with oil-based paint when it's been on there for fucking years. All right, it looks like a little bit of FRP, but then the rest of it's just tile. And then there's those hash marks. This dude's 6 feet tall. I don't know what he weighs. He's a soy boy, whatever. But I've never seen a mugshot like this. Go look up mugshots. Look up my fucking mugshot, for fuck's sake. You know, when you get a mugshot, you are standing in front of it's a graduated fucking scale. This is like what you do with your little kid when they're growing up, and you're measuring them every couple of months, and you put a mark, you know, you put the book on top of their head and you make the mark on the door jamb. That's what this is. This is bullshit. I don't know what the deal is here. I don't know what kind of nonsense they're dealing with out there in PA. But this is supposed to be kind of like, I mean, from what I looked up, it looked like a pretty big jail. And that's where you do your mugshots. Now, granted, the dude was on suicide watch. But if you got officers, you can take him and put him in front of the goddamn, you know, I mean, you can't even tell how tall. I mean, you know that the door jamb's 7 feet tall, but you can't tell. There's 2 hash marks. That's it. I've never in my life seen anything like that. Typically, there's a mirror to the right, so they get a side profile of you as well. And typically, it shows you're backed up against the goddamn wall where they can see exactly how tall you are. Not 2 marks on a tile wall next to a rusty-ass door jamb in a fucking bathroom or a janitor's closet or whatever that was. Now, granted, he did have the padded party suit on. They did have him in suicide watch. He had some kind of an incident, apparently, with some other lady that was in there. She was in there for a domestic, and then he was yelling at the cops and talking about, you know, how he's going to, if you come in here, I'll cut you. He's acting out. I mean, the dude had never been locked up before. He'd never been incarcerated. He'd never, you know. I see people online talking about how he had a problem in prison. It's like, dude, he ain't even in prison yet. He's in a fucking county jail. There's a difference. He's not in prison. And he's going into, you know, and that's the other thing. This dude waived his extradition. This guy is a criminal justice. He holds a master's in criminal justice and criminology, and he's working on his doctorate. Guess what? He ain't getting that fucking doctorate now. His shit is over. It doesn't matter. I don't think there's any way that he walks out of this. Even if he did or didn't do it, he's still going down for it, because guess what? You've got a community that's emotionally invested in this. You have law enforcement that's invested in this, and if they're not going to get egg on their face. Trust me. Small town like that, no. Those people will never trust him again. This dude is going down. And, you know, his family lives in a gated community. They better pony up and get this dude a goddamn attorney. Because if they don't, I mean, he's screwed either way. Because there's no way he's going to get a fair trial. How are you going to find a juror that doesn't know about this case? I mean, that's what they ask. They ask a juror, you know, a potential juror, you know, do you know anything about the case? Everybody in that area, everybody in the country, they were yelling at him when he was going in just to waive his extradition yesterday. Like, he's walking in there yelling, why'd you do it? Why'd you do it? Nobody knows that he did do it. The DNA that they got, from what I understand, and everything I've read, they used an outfit like the 23andMe or Ancestry.com. And because somebody in his family had submitted to that, then they were able to, you know, find the commonalities in it. That's how they caught the Green River Killer in California. They've done it with a couple other serial killers that have got away with that shit for years. That's how they found them. So I'm not saying that that's not a legitimate way. I mean, I was really hesitant about doing that. But then I thought, well, shit. I had my DNA taken by the feds how many times? I was like, it don't matter with me. I mean, they already got my shit, so I might as well find out where I'm from. So I did the swab thing and sent it in, and it was kind of cool to see. I found out some things that I thought was, you know, it pretty much backed up what I thought I knew, but, you know, a few different things with, you know, different parts of the family when they got over here. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But the DNA that they had obviously they didn't have his DNA, so they had to go down that route. So I don't know. This dude, no. I mean, he says he can't wait to get back to Idaho so he can get exonerated. I don't know what's good. People are going to lose their collective minds because everybody in this country has this dude as doing this. And I feel for the families, but I'll tell you what, you know what, the families out there, you know, this is a hard thing to say, but you're not getting your kids back, you know, and if it comes to throwing some guy away for life that perhaps didn't do it, that doesn't fix anything. There's nothing that's fixable here, you know. There's nothing that's fixable with this for these people, and I feel for them. But hearts and thoughts and prayers and shit doesn't do fucking much when you're talking about 4 dead children that, you know, I mean, I can't even imagine that the holidays with those folks had to have just been agonizing. And I mean, I can't even imagine, you know. And if this dude did do it and they got it on him, then hey, throw him away, whatever, you know. But I don't understand why the feds haven't stepped in, but I do. Because the feds don't jump on anything unless if it's up in the air, they don't want anything to do with it. They want to make sure they got a slam dunk. So they're sitting back and they're waiting. They're waiting to see what comes out, because when he gets back to Idaho today, he might be there by now. I don't know. I don't have the monitor on to check the local news, but he was on a private flight. And when he gets there, that's when they're gonna open the paperwork up. All right, that's when they're going to open up the probable cause documentation. And then you're going to get possible motive, and you're going to get what they actually have to pursue this guy. Now, personally, I don't understand why they didn't. They had the guy, they were watching him. Why not just, I mean, the dude is obviously, from everything I've read about him and watched about the guy, he's like the top of his class, right? Like, you know, he's like I said, he's basically teaching 3 undergraduate classes and getting a doctorate in criminal justice and criminology. Now, there's this shit that's saying that he was talking to BTK, bind, torture, and kill. God damn it, now I can't even remember his last name. Dude that killed a bunch of fucking people in a bad way. This dude's fucking... They said there was communication between them. I don't know if there was or if there wasn't. Raider. That's his name. Raider was his last name. Bind, torture, and kill. BTK. The BTK killer, right? He killed a bunch of people in the 70s, and then he resurfaced later on. And, really weird dude. But his daughter was, you know, she was on, you guys probably, if you guys are paying attention, you saw her, she was talking about it and hoping that her dad didn't have nothing to do with it. But there was speculation that the 2 of them had been in contact, that there had been letters sent back and forth. Now, I don't know if that's the truth or not. You know, it's hard to say. And everybody's just got this dude pinned as this is the guy, you know, and I look at him and I go, I don't know. Maybe he is. I'm not saying he is or he isn't. I'm just saying that there's a lot of weird. I mean, like that car, right? Like if he pulled off these murders, you're talking about a dude going in at 3 a.m. with a knife. And killing 4 people. There's going to be blood all over him. Where'd the bloody clothes go? He couldn't have... I mean, this dude's a criminal justice fucking... the guy's got a fucking master's degree in criminal... I mean, he knows what... I mean, this dude knows what's up. This is what the guy's spent his life studying. He would know better than to just pull that fucking car up out in front of that house. Or even be driving around there. I mean, unless he's just that much of a psychopath. And maybe he is. Maybe that's it. And maybe this guy's just fucking, maybe he's, you know, out in Deep Space Nine. I just, You know, and then talking about him being a heroin addict and this and that. Was doing pretty good for a heroin addict. I mean, motherfucker's teaching 3 classes and getting a doctorate degree, you know. I mean, neighbors say he's up vacuuming at midnight. Big deal. And, you know, I mean, if the dude's teaching 3 classes and he's getting his doctorate, he's got his plate full. That's all I'm saying. I'm not taking the dude's side. I'm not saying one way or another. I'm just saying a lot of it doesn't add up. The fact that he waived extradition, and he is very knowledgeable about the criminal justice system. I mean, to me, if you're guilty, if he's guilty, the last place he wants to be is in Moscow, Idaho, because it's a small jail, number one. So and they're going to put him in PC. I guarantee it. He's not going to be, you know, there's probably maybe 30 or 40 people in that fucking whole stupid facility. Not calling your facility stupid. I'm just saying that's a small facility, which is where they're going to have him housed. So you already have the officers there. They're biased against him. He's probably not going to get treated that well. They will put him in PC, which is, you know, it basically in segregation. He'll be by himself. He'll basically be in the shoe. He's not going to be in Gen Pop because everybody's going to want to kill him. The cops aren't going to, you know, they're not going to treat him well. Some of them might, I don't know. It just depends. I mean, he you know, but to put yourself in that situation when you know the way the law works, I mean, I look at it like if he did it, he would not have waived that extradition. He would have done everything that he could to stay out there. And that's why I wish the authorities would have just sat on him. Just sit on him. Sit on him and watch what he does. You got surveillance on him. He obviously didn't know that he was being surveilled. I mean, how long's his Christmas break going to last anyways, you know? I mean, see what he does. See if he comes back. If he gets in the car and he starts driving back, follow him all the way back. And as soon as he crosses Idaho, if you got shit on him and you know that it's him, then you pull him over. Then you don't got to worry about the extradition. None of it. You got him. You put him on the no-fly list so he can't fly anywhere. You put a GPS unit on his fucking car, you know? You fucking get a subpoena for the goddamn cell phone. I mean, I don't understand it. And the fact that the feds were following him, and the FBI's following him from Idaho to Pennsylvania is what they said. But they allow him to get pulled over twice? Did they talk to the State Patrol and tell him to pull him over? Was that what it was? Because the second one, they said they had the body cam footage and then they had the dash cam footage. And the officer went up and he was following a semi too close. And the officer was like, look, do you understand how close you are? You know, and he was trying to lay it out to me. He's like, look, if you're going 10 miles an hour, you need to be 1 car length. If you're going 60 or 70, you need to be 6 or 7 car lengths back. And this Brian Kohberger, his dad's riding shotgun with him, and Kohberger says, "Oh, we got pulled over a ways back for, you know, same thing." And the officer says, "Well, you know, I'm not going to give you a ticket or anything like that if you already got one." So it sounded like they already had a ticket for this. So did this guy know who they were, and he was just kind of doing pulling them over to just, you know, get a glance. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe the feds had said, "Hey, you know, this dude's coming through at mile marker such and such. If you got an officer out here, pull this motherfucker over and get a look inside that car and let us know what you see." Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. It just seems odd to me that if they're following him, then they're not going to want him. I mean, to me, it doesn't seem like they're going to want him to get messed with unless they want to get like a preliminary look inside the vehicle. Which I don't understand how they didn't find the vehicle anyways, because it was like the 7th of December that they announced that was the vehicle that was under suspicion. And the dude didn't get out of school until the 9th. So that means he probably didn't leave until like maybe the morning of the 10th. I don't know what day he left Idaho, but that gives him 2 days. Pullman's not a big place. He was in a student housing. I guarantee that all those local law enforcement, agencies, whether it be Highway Patrol, the local police departments, DCI, FBI, who knows what they had in there, looking into this thing. I mean, this has gone on for a long time. And that's part of my question, too. It's gone on long enough that it's like, why jump the gun at this point? It's gone on. I mean, that dude sat there for a month. If this dude did it, he sat there 10 miles from the spot where he allegedly murdered these 4 kids. He's a kid himself. And he sat there and he went and did all his schoolwork. And then, of course, they interview people that knew him, right? And that's always funny to me because the dude's all over the national news. Is anybody going to get up and say this is a good guy? No, everybody's going to play he's a loner. He's a weirdo. He'd drinking coffee. That's what the one guy said. He'd come into school with coffee. What the fuck? It's fucking the end of the semester. Everybody's fucking staying up late at night, cramming, studying, fucking getting their shit done, getting papers written. You're going to drink some fucking coffee. That's not a weird thing. And then he had a food fetish. The guy's a vegan. I mean, I'm not fucking sitting here saying that this guy is innocent at all. I'm just saying people, it's got to take its course. It's got to work its way through. I don't think it's going to work itself out for this guy one way or another. If he did do it, he's fucked. If he didn't do it, he's fucked. Because he's not going to walk away from this. There's no way that they're going to have that egg on their face because you've got a small town police department, and I'm not detracting anything from them. I think that they've honestly, I would believe that they've done their very best, but I don't think that they were ready for something like this. They hadn't had a murder in that town in a very long time. They're used to dealing with, beer brawls and frat boy fights and shit like that. I mean, I don't think anybody was ready for this thing because this was just it's everybody in the country's paying attention to it. It's all over my news feed and everything. But, there's a couple of things out of the whole deal that just make me wonder. I mean, the waiving the extradition. Maybe they found, when they release this paperwork today, they should, once he gets there, they should release the probable cause affidavits. And that should say, what it is that they have. And that'd be helpful to know. But as of right now, what I've gathered, and I could be completely off on it, but is that they didn't have, a very good, a good enough DNA sample that they could just go off of that. So I don't know if they sat there and waited, sat on him, watched him throw away water bottles or whatever, and went and grabbed that to make a match, or if they cross-referenced it with the 23andMe or the Ancestry.com. I don't know. And then that fool waiving extradition to come back to Idaho and saying that he wanted to just get exonerated. I mean, it sounds like he's a weird cat, But that doesn't mean anything. There's a lot of weird cats out there. It doesn't make him a serial killer. But, I'm not saying one way or another. But everybody, I listen to the media and everybody, this country, here's the deal. Like, people have forgotten this. Like, you are innocent until proven guilty. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they found this dude covered in fucking blood with a goddamn butcher knife. They let him drive all the way across the fucking country in this vehicle. And the vehicle he's in was a 2015, and they said that the launcher that they was a 2010 to a 2013. Now, granted, they don't look that much different. But if that's what if you're going to definitively say that this is what you're looking for, and then I listened to the chief, and what he said, he goes, well, we have an Elantra. He didn't say we have the Elantra. He said we have an Elantra. And then they were very vague about the DNA. And from everything that I gathered, you all know me. I do my homework on this. I get into it as far as I can. until I hit a wall, and that's where I'm at with this, because they've put a gag order on all of it. So it should be coming out here, I would imagine, probably anytime soon. Sounds like he's on a private flight. I don't know who's flying him. I don't know if the feds are. I don't know if he's on a Con Air flight. I don't know if he's on a charter jet. I don't know who's paying for it. I don't know. But there's certainly a lot of elements to be questioned in this whole thing, is what I'm saying. So anyway, between that and then, the Republicans sitting there and, stumbling over their fucking shoelaces and doing what, I knew this is what they were going to do anyways. So it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. When it comes down to it, it's going to be more of the same. They're not going to get anything done. They were supposed to go into this midterm election and it was going to be a red tsunami. Oh, okay. Yeah, how'd that work out? Not so well. Who gives a shit anyways? Red, blue, donkey, elephant, it doesn't matter. They're all the same thing. What it comes down to is that you and I are just going to get screwed. They don't give a shit about us. They couldn't care less. And they just bank on all of you taking one side or the other. Have you noticed how it's pretty much a 50-50 divide? I mean, it's so close with this. That's what they want. They want it to be that close. They don't want it to be, once. I mean, they want it to be right down the line. And that means that both parties are doing the same shit. It's just they just word it differently. I mean, when they push through a 4,155 page, $1.7 trillion bill, and they give 72 hours to read the motherfucker, do you think any of them give a fuck? No. A couple of them did, but they did. What'd they do? Nothing. They don't care. I mean, what's it matter? I mean, 33 trillion. We're never going to get out of debt. The debt's never going to get paid off. I hope you all realize that. This debt, look on, all you got to do is get online. There's a site. You can get on there, and it's a ticker that's running. And it's showing you, by the fraction of a second. And you just sit there and watch that ticker go, and you're just like, oh. I'll pull it up right now. It's crazy. If you haven't looked at it, look at it. But I mean, the thing is that's all on. There's a reason for it. It's on your head. It's on my head. It's on it's on our children's head. I mean, we didn't do anything to accumulate this fucking bullshit, but we have to have it, because if we don't have any money. And if we don't have any money, then what? Then the rich people can't get richer, right? I mean, and then they don't have any power over us. I mean, come on. Let's see. Let's find that real-time debt clock here. Let's look this sucker up. I'll pull this son of a bitch up, and you guys can all have a look at it. If you have never seen this, then you will get a kick out of this, because, let's see, come on. Well, I don't want debt consolidation. I just want the clock. Jesus. There's so much out there. If the credit cards would... What are we doing here? This thing... Yeah, okay. Let's just pull this thing up. Just keeps going back to the same bullshit. I've looked it up not too long ago. I should have just saved it. Arizona debt relief. Yeah, we go out and we punch the clock for debt, so we can get, notes of debt. That's what your money is. Every single bill that you got in your wallet is debt. That's all it is. I mean, you can go get some shit with it, but I mean, Debt, 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 debt. $100 bills, y'all. $100 bills. Nobody even carries cash anymore. Cash is on the way out. It's done. We might have a few more years of that shit. It's crazy I can't pull this goddamn shit up. This is pissing me off. What is this info.com bullshit? What a bunch of nonsense. Huh. Yeah, anyway, the national debt, that's something that we should know. You don't even have to concern yourself with it because it's never going to get paid off. So it's not any, you don't have to worry about it. But you are a slave. If you're punching a clock, you're a slave. Slavery never ended, okay? It just took a different form. If you're happy with what you're doing, I'm happy for you. I'm not going to sit here and try and, I'm not trying to denigrate anybody or anything like that. If you're happy, you know what, clap your hands. Have fun at church, whatever you got to do. But the reality of it is that most people I talk to are not working a job because they want to. Are you working a job because you want to? I mean, I like doing work, but I like doing my own work. Like, I do the work that I want to do. You know what I mean? I do the work that means something to me. And I'm stubborn, though. I'm a jackass, I mean, I'll butt heads with anybody. I don't give a shit. I mean, I'm going to do what I want. That's just me, I've had enough of it. I've been through enough with it. I'm going to do what I want, and I don't care if I don't make money at it or what. Money's not the end of the, that's not the end game for me. I want to do things that are meaningful, things that are rewarding, and hopefully things that help others as well. I've kind of got salty about that because it's like, the old adage, no good deed goes unpunished, and I've kind of got a little bit withdrawn with that, but I still try and help people out. If I think that they're, I'm not going to get completely screwed over it, but it seems like no matter what, you kind of do, and that's where, you have to go into it with that. So that comes to another thing, okay? We're talking about usury, right? It's a term meaning lending people money with interest. Now, for those of you out there that are Christians, okay, the Bible says that's a no-no. All right, the Quran also says that, and in the Muslim faith, that is one of the no-nos. Is if you're going to loan somebody some money, then you loan it to them and you get paid back what you loaned them, not this interest bullshit. We can get into that another time. I don't want to go down that route right now with interest and what that's all about, but if you're interested in the interest thing, maybe look it up. Maybe I'll put some links on the bottom of this thing to a couple of decent videos and information where you could find out exactly what's going on with the money system, what's going on when you take out a loan, what's going on when you make a deposit in the bank. It's worth looking into. I mean, here's the thing, folks. If you made a New Year's resolution to go to the gym, don't do that, okay? Wait. Hold off on that, okay? Because you should have been in there before, all right? Don't be that jackass that's in there this week fucking everybody's program up. We've already talked about that. Invest in your mind, okay? Put some ducats up here. You got to exercise this thing once in a while. Do some homework. Pay attention. Open your eyes. I'm not saying sit there and watch CNN. You're not going to get anything from them. You're not going to get anything from Fox News. You're not going to get anything but bullshit from these places, okay? You need to find other outlets. And if you need to know places where I go to look for objective, actual reporting from real journalists, I'm more than happy to share the information with you. Most people don't want to know. Most people are happy just not to know and to just wander around in oblivion and think that everything's cool. I'm not one of those people. I don't think everything's cool. It doesn't matter to me. Like I said in one of my blog posts that I wrote last night, I mean, if you'd have told me 20 years ago in 2003 that I'd be turning 47 in 2023, I would have laughed in your face. There was no way. I mean, I can't even, it still boggles my mind that I'm even here. But here we are. Here I am. I mean, so I don't have anything really on the table. I mean, if whatever, I'm good, whatever takes me out, it's inevitable for all of us anyways, and I'm fine with it. I've lived a hell of a life, and I mean, and I think that's probably the reason is I've just never been scared of it, and I'm still not. I don't care. When you're gone, you're gone. I mean, just fuck. It's just we're just walking around in rental cars. That's all this shit is. It's a rental car, I mean, that's it. You're going to have to turn it in, And then the great adventure starts from there, I suppose. I don't know. None of us know, So you can spend your life, throwing that check in the offering tray every Sunday. That's what makes you happy. You can just act like everything's just hunky, it's just cool and everything, and or you can ask yourself some questions, Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Why are we the only species on this planet that isn't comfortable here? How come all the other living, breathing species here just are fine? It's under freezing today, and I guarantee if I was to go out there on my dirt bike, which I can't because there's snow and shit, but if I was to jump in my truck and go drive out there in the boonies, I guarantee there's just antelope and deer and cows out there. They're just chilling. Doesn't bother them. Us, we're dead. We can't go out there in that shit without having, fire and layers and layers of Gore-Tex clothing and shit and tents and, it's miserable for us. And for us, it's 5 degrees one way or another. We're miserable, complaining it's too hot, it's too cold, it's too muggy, it's too dry. There's fucking smoke in the air. You look at the animals and they're just out there just chilling. You know what I mean? So there's another reason for us being here. And it isn't just to fucking spend 70, 80 years. Sometimes less. We don't know. Who knows? I can walk out the door as soon as I shut this thing off. I can walk out the door and jump in my truck and back out my driveway and get fucking cold cocked with a fucking snowplow. And lights out. Do you think that those poor kids that went to bed on, that early morning on the 13th of October, oh jeez. Do you think that they went to bed thinking they weren't going to see the next morning? I guarantee they'd probably talked about where they were going to breakfast the next morning. It's unfortunate. That sucks. And, I feel for their families. I mean, what a just a horrible thing. Horrible thing. But what do you, I don't know. And I don't know if this kid was behind it, then this is a serious psychopath and he's going to get what he's got coming. But you can't sit there and just say that. Looking at everything, what's come out so far anyhow, I don't know. It's hard to just sit there and say this is the guy. It's going to happen when something like this goes down, and as soon as somebody's accused, the masses are asses, and I say this all the time, do I not? People are going to go with the status quo. So when they're talking to some mushhead kid that went to school with this guy or whatever, well, he had coffee every morning. It was kind of weird. And, then Ant's like, yeah, he had a food fetish. People have weird relationships with food. You probably do. I'm sure I do too. Everybody does. I don't eat sugar. Does that mean I have a food? It's just, I know if I eat it, that I blow up like a fucking walrus. This dude, and that's what gets me, is the dude's a very strict vegan, like, not even, I don't even know how the dude goes out to eat. He probably doesn't, because you can't go to a restaurant and not have your food served. I mean, I don't. What if vegans did they cook this shit or what? They just eat fucking nuts and berries or what? I don't know. I don't get it, but it's not. It's not my thing. Whatever. If that's your thing, then that's your thing. Whatever. I don't give a shit. I just don't want to hear about it. That's the thing that drives me nuts. You got the two types of vegans. You got the one that has to tell everybody, and then you got the one that's just like cool and doesn't say anything about it, and just rolls with it. We had a friend a while back, and she was vegan, but she never had to. We knew if she was coming over for dinner, like I'd make sure that we had, that we had something that was vegan, but she never said nothing about it. She never did the whole grandstand and preach at people. I can't stand that. They want to holier than thou. I was like, well, go out and eat my grass clippings, and I need those things to go away. Anyway. All right. I'm going to take us out on that note. So, welcome to 2023. I hope it's just a lovely year for everybody. I hope we get our act together. I hope we figure it out. That's my goal. Figure it out. It's not about complying. There comes a time, and the time is now. If not now, when? I mean, look at the way this thing's going. We're on the verge of any day. Who knows? We got a mushhead that shakes hands with ghosts that has the nuke codes. Okay? He's quite possibly compromised. I mean, I don't know for sure, but judging from everything that I've read and what's gone on with this kid and everything, this is we've got a bad group of stupid people. And I don't think that they're evil. I think they're just stupid. And like I've said, stupidity is always more dangerous than malevolence. You can deal with an evil person. You can rationalize with an evil person. You know where you're at with an evil person. With a stupid person, they're unpredictable. You don't know what's coming next. They don't even know what's coming next. And they believe anything and they jump on board with anything. They've got no critical thinking capabilities. And they've got no independent thought. They just do whatever society says to do. That's where we're at. I mean, tell me that's not where we're at. I mean, you can take this case with this kid and look how quick the whole entire country, there's maybe one or two people out there that I've seen that are even approaching this the way I am. And I'm not saying the dude's innocent. I'm just saying, hey, we got to let we've got this system in place. You got to let it take its course. But I don't know how it's going to play out. If the dude is innocent, I don't see it playing out in his favor. He's going down either fucking way. Just like Julian Assange. I'm not comparing him to Julian Assange, but Julian Assange, the same type of thing, right? They've fabricated, just like Andrew Tate, right? I won't get into that Andrew Tate shit. Same type of thing, though. They fabricate these stories about, whatever they got to do. Look at Assange. I mean, they want him dead. And that dude has never, ever published anything that was a lie. But they want him dead. I don't know. I mean, we're all going to get it anyway, so, who was it? Was it Emiliano Zapata said, it's better to die on your feet than live on your knees? With that in mind, I'll take you out with, I don't know, a little something I put together yesterday. So, anyway, like I always say around here, be good or be good at it. In all things be kind and do no harm from 52 miles east of Jellystone Park out of Coyote, Wyoming. You've been tuned into the Mic'd Files, and we'll get at it again soon. Peace out.